welcome to the show. Now we begin this week's Failrace episode with Cruel World on Forza Horizon 5, doing a spot of multiplayer racing, heading up towards the next corner. It is tighter than one player expected, and they are straight off the bridge and into a solid rock face. Quite an impressive crash, I'm not going to lie at all. A lame roadster up next on Grid Legends. Now, I believe this is following an AI car that's kind of battling away with some other AI cars. You know, there's some bumping, there's some crashing. Now, sometimes these vehicles have mechanical failures that often lead to a massively spectacular crash, and that is the case for this V8 supercar. The front wheel comes off, it goes for a big old roll. The impressive bit, though, is the wonderful balance on the tyre bundle. Reminds me of that well-behaved wheel from V8 Supercar. I wish I could put the clip in, but, you know, copyright and all that. But it's with the car this time rather than a loose wheel. We're on to Assetto Corsa next with a hill climb race, running an Evo up here. And it's a little bit too much speed into a corner. Cannot quite avoid the wall. Car digs in and flips. However, manages to sink. But it doesn't sink fully. No, it doesn't go through the floor and end up in another dimension. I guess there's enough of a hitbox with the floor and the wheels for it to sort of hold it upside down, which is quite impressive. The step forward up next on Assetto Corsa is racing around Laguna. At night, they've got a selection of Golfs, you know, going for a race, as you do. Nothing, I say nothing too untoward. A lot of sparks. I mean, there's more than a 4, but it's a very low goal. You probably want a bit higher ride height if you're sparking that much. But, you know, it's a good race so far. They're battling side by side around the final corner. However, as they go up towards the start-finish line, the car in front just decides it's had enough and takes off. It's gone. It's not coming back. It doesn't come back. The minimap, it disappears off of the minimap, so I don't know whether it was disconnected or maybe it just went too high. Maybe it's just left. It's just had enough of racing. Spooky Squid is up next on iRacing. Sort of a Porsche 911 Cup car race going on at Watkins Glen, and everything's gone wrong. Here, there's cars flying about through the air. The car we're riding on board with is amazingly lucky to make it through that mess in one piece. I mean, this section, I like Watkins Glen as a circuit. This section can certainly lead to some big crashes. We don't see what quite causes this one. The aftermath is spectacular. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of airtime for somebody. The rest are all, well, it's like stopped in the middle of the road. The rest sort of spinning on the ground. It's a big shunt. It is a big shunt. They do happen. I mean, there's cars further down the road as well that have got into trouble. Yeah, Watkins can definitely be dangerous. Verax the Wolf is up next on Gran Turismo 7. They are racing one of the LMP cars around Brands Hatch. I mean, when you make mistakes here, it is easy to run wide. There's not much space. However, it's a good recovery. Normally, when you end up in the gravel here, I've done it plenty of times, you don't manage to spin yourself back onto the circuit and carry on as if nothing has happened. So, fair play. Douglas is up next on Euro Truck Simulator. Now, there is sort of like a road. They're being told to come off the motorway up ahead. They don't particularly want to do that, so decide to go around it. The game will punish them by flinging a trailer at them. I'm going to guess this kind of stop was why there was supposed to be, you know, you have to take avoiding action. I haven't played Euro Truck for a long time. Seems to be more to it. But yeah, no shortcuts for you. You're going to get a trailer thrown at you if you do. Parallel is up next on Starfield, and they have found something weird. When, you know, visiting a planet, heading to a planet, you know, sometimes there are spaceships around said planet. I've played a fair bit of this game. I've not seen this particular thing, where it's just a wildly spinning ship for no reason. Like, the player's done nothing to it. It's just spinning around. They actually go to give it a bump to see what might happen. You know, if there's a glitch, you've got to crash into the glitch to see what's going to occur. Maybe it'll speed up. Maybe it'll do something even wackier. In this instance, it did just kind of slow it down a bit, but didn't really stop it from spinning. It's just sort of happy to continue spinning around, so sure, and leave it to that. F1 Ethan on Ghost Recon Breakpoint with a buggy that really wants to be a motorbike. I'm not quite sure how it's managed to happen, but it's got it's sort of either wants to be a motorbike or it desperately wants to fall over, but the game physics won't let it because it's continuing to be stuck on its side. It's determined to try and fall over, but nope, we're going to carry on driving onto... I mean, it's impressive two-wheel driving, to be fair. The amount of time it's managed to stay up on its side, but don't know, see what happens. Maybe it continues. Maybe the rest of the game it'll just be stuck on its side. RollsRoyce is up next on Sprocket. So this is a game all about building tanks, and I guess this is some sort of like test arena for their vehicles. So they're spawning in an enemy. The first one wasn't quite powerful enough to do much about their kind of custom tank. The second one definitely powerful enough to do something about it. Like the well-behaved car that landed on the tyre bundle, at least this time, the turret landed back roughly where it should be. I mean, a lot of fire, probably not what you want, but there we go. And finally, we have got Stillguns on a game I'm not going to be able to pronounce. Stormvik, maybe. Anyway, so starts off, they fire missiles that don't go where they want it to. They've just gone off on their own. Okay, well, that's not ideal, but sure. And then one of the engines stalls. Now, you can't see amazing, but I've got to keep a little eye on the information at the side. So one of the engines has gone out. Now this is bad news, funnily enough, for a plane. However, planes are going to glide, right? On the most part, yeah, planes are going to glide even if the engines go out. So they're trying desperately to get the engines to refire, trying to get it to do what they want it to do. Everything is mostly in control at the moment. Of course, this is Failrace. Things do not stay in control, as you might expect. The engine gets fired up, and then things go wrong. Yeah. For some reason, turning the engine on has caused the plane to spin very wildly out of control. It is, no longer gliding. It's saying stall. I think you've got bigger problems than stalling at this moment in time when it's doing this. I'm not quite sure how the physics has managed to decide that this is what it should be doing. It finally stopped. I mean, it's a bit like the Starfield ship, only, well, it's slowly stopping its, I guess, vertical looping, and now we're just going for spinning. We're gracefully-ish spinning our way down towards the ground, which is not really what you need at all. And it's a crash landing. So the plane was unhappy is, I think, the best thing I can say from that one. But there we go. That is going to be it for this episode. As ever, if you have clips you'd like to submit to this series, you can via a Google form. There'll be a link to it in the description. All the rules and how it works can be found on there. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.